Hello and welcome to the next video of my LPL 2024 preview series where we're going to cover ThunderTalk Gaming, otherwise known as TT. A team that, since their inception, has struggled all three seasons. This year, they are pretty much going with 4 of the 5 players they had last year towards the end of summer, trying to build on what they already have. So, in 2021, they went 6-26. In 2022, 10 wins, 22 losses. And then last year, 14 and 18. So progressively 4 wins each season. So, I mean, I guess that means in 2024 they go 18 and 14. I don't think that's necessarily what they're hoping is their limitation, but based on the trajectory, that is the result. So the moves they made, they let Yao Yao go as well as Jin Liu, 2 supports that they had this past year, and Wanfeng, who was an 80 carry. Tried to role swap to support, and they let him go. I believe he's more than LPL quality. The fact that he is without a job is pretty pitiful. They added Feather and Chow Chow to the roster, 2 supports to go alongside 1xN in bot lane. Feather, formerly with 1xN in JDG's LDL squad, and Chow Chow, obviously a veteran coming from FPX. The average age of this roster going into the year is 22.2 years old. Top lane is Hoya, a Korean import, 23 years old, weak side at best. His Gragas is pretty good, but everything else leaves a lot to be desired. 81 games, 2.4 KDA, 7.6 CS per minute, 52.8 KP. So not a lot of farm, dies a lot. 20.6 gold share, 452 damage per minute, which is 23% of damage, which is a decent amount. 14 champions played. Kesante, Renekton, and Gragas account for 53% of his games. Behind him is Uyuzi. Uyuzi has, not dominated the LDL, to put it very mildly. So Hoya, as of right now, is not under any pressure. Uyuzi, 58 games, 2.3 KDA, 7.3 CS per minute, 56.6 KP. 20.2 gold share, 456 damage per minute, 16 champions played. I know it's Fearless draft, but maybe that champion pool needs to be dropped down a bit so he can just improve on what he's playing. In the jungle is Beshwan, a player that I've thought highly of over the last couple of years, 22 years old. Starting to get a little older now, so, he's kind of got to get it together. 76 games played, 2.8 KDA, 5.5 CS per minute, 72.4 KP. He's better on carries, but these numbers are above average. However, this jungle role on this team is the most contested role as far as LDL players is concerned, possibly getting a shot at the LPL. As we saw last year. Excuse me. My apologies. 18.7 gold share, 336 damage per minute, which was 16% of the team's damage, which is a lot out of a jungler. 10 champions played, and he had one of the more limited champion pools out of junglers last year in the 4 major regions. Sejuani, Wukong, and Vi were 70% of his games. Not a lot of people with that, that high of a percentage out of their top 3. And then behind him is Zhao Huangren. Zhao Huangren is 18 years old. Super talented prospect. Right alongside Lucid and Douglas in terms of this player could come in and probably do very well. He played a handful of games last year with the LPL team and only 21 games overall. So keep in mind, like a quarter of these games that I'm going to have stats for him are LPL. So 21 games. 3.6 KDA, 6.7 CS per minute, 72.7 KP. Pure carry-oriented jungler. 20.9 gold share, 445 damage per minute. Hell, that's more gold and more DPM than even Hoya had. 15 champions played in 21 games as well. Wide champion pool putting up those kind of numbers. Can do it all. He should be in the LPL. I remember there were rumors last year that in his contract he was required LPL games. I don't know if that was true or not, but he should be in the LPL. And frankly, despite me saying, I've been a fan of Beshwan for a while, he has competition behind him that deserves a spot. So there should be a position battle there. UCal, 22 years old in mid lane. Underrated, I think. Maybe the most underrated mid laner in the LPL. I believe I had him in my underrated video a couple weeks ago. Excuse me. 81 games, 4 KDA, 8.9 CS per minute, 71 2 KP, 23.4% of the team's gold. That's a lot of gold out of the mid laner. Usually don't see him north of 23%. 551 damage per minute, which was 27.2% of damage, so secondary carry. 19 champions played. Jace, Tristana, and Annie accounting for only 33%. So very wide champion pool, putting up carry-oriented numbers. I mean, he's really good. I think a lot of people look at his end in Korea and probably give him some crap. I think he's much better than that, and much better than ThunderTalk's record would indicate. And ironically enough, the LDL player behind him, Insulator, is older than UCal. So Insulator is 23 years old. And he's doing well at the LDL level, but at this point he should be. Some of these players are 4, 5, 6 years younger than him. 3.7 KDA, 8.7 CS per minute, 71.9 KP, 22.8 gold share, and nearly 700 DPM. That is a shit ton of damage. 18 champions played. 80 carry, 1XN, 19 years old, played 35 games last year, had a 3.8 KDA, 9.6 CS per minute, 62.6 KP in his rookie year. So hopefully we see growth. Having to play with different supports didn't help. Splitting scrims didn't help. 24.6 gold share, 563 damage per minute, which was over 28% of the team's damage. 10 champions played. Aphelios, Zeri, and Varus were 63% of his games. There are a couple backups, so there are options. Ryan 3, age unknown, played 27 games with ThunderTalk last year in the LDL. Technically listed as a support on Leaguepedia. 3.8 KDA, 8.9 CS per minute, 71.4 KP. 23.4 gold share, 608 damage per minute, 10 champions played. So you do have to think, these numbers aren't great, but he's also a role swap support. So it's a mess there. Wayne, 20 years old, no stats from last year, hasn't played since 2020. Frankly, I'm surprised he's even listed on the roster. He played with Griffin in Challengers, if you recall that squad in Korea. And lastly, the substitute, who probably should be the second 80 carry on the team, is Bat. 20 years old. Had 51 games played in the LDL last year. 4.1 KDA, 9.9 CS per minute, 69.4 KP. He is very good. You could argue that he is in between the LDL and LPL level. Probably could make an argument for him being promoted. 69.4 gold. That'd be a lot of gold. 69.4 KP, 25.2 gold share, 630 damage per minute, 12 champions played. Lastly, we have support. So Chow Chow, 25 years old. These numbers are with FPX. He played 61 games last year. Had a 3.2 KDA, 77.1 KP, 151 damage per minute, and 16 champions played. Lulu, Rakan, and Nautilus were 46% of his matches. Chow Chow was also on my underrated list. Very good with FPX. A lot of people look at the record and think, oh, well, Chow Chow and everybody else on the team must have sucked. I thought Chow Chow did a pretty damn good job. We also have Feather, who's in a battle with Chow Chow for the role. Obviously, like I said, Feather, former duo with 1XN last year in spring, which earned them both a promotion, albeit separated. So Feather played with Rare Adam in summer last year alongside Baolan in the support role, both of them, going back and forth. 20 years old, 28 games played, 2.3 KDA, 75 KP, 140 damage per minute, 10 champions played. It's hard to look at his stats and really penalize him. Not a great situation to be in. So we'll see how it goes this year. And then you have Loon. In the LDL, played 35 games, 2.4 KDA, 74.3 KP, 122 damage per minute, so more passive, supportive support, if you will. 12 champions played. And for coach, we have Zhao Peng. Zhao Peng is 5-11 in his career as a coach, credited on Wikipedia. Only summer this past year. Otherwise, he was a player. He's only 26 years old. So, one of the younger coaches probably in the LPL and major regions to begin with. As ThunderTalk, go with pretty much the roster from last year outside of support. And, I mean, I'm not going to pretend like I think they're going to be excellent. Going into last year, I thought they'd do really well. And that didn't happen. So, we're going to temper our expectations. If you've been around for a while, you know that this team and I have a history. So, we'll just kind of take it with a grain of salt this year. So thank you for watching. If you like the video, like it, subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, become a YouTube supporter. And hope to see you again tomorrow.